1.
Oh goodness, we're live. Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you're joining us from. My name's Elias and I am super psyched for this live session. Dude, we get to geek out about a really awesome tool called Ontime. I'm not even going to do any crazy preamble. We're just going to get straight into it. Luke is one of our producers here. He is joining us as well. Good morning, Mr. Luke Westlake. Coming
Good
to us
morning.
from Coming to us from Norway is Carlos Valente. He is the creator of OnTime. And coming to us from Denmark is Alex Rasmussen, who started out as looking for an alternative timekeeping software for live productions and liked it so much that he wrote some code, submitted it, and one thing led to another, and here we are. They've got a little bit of a dream team going on. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining this morning.
Thank you for having us. It's very nice to be here.
This is awesome. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while because you've been giving us some glimpses into OnTime v4. We've been using, of course, we use OnTime all the time here for our productions. We're using it in the back end. You might have noticed before we went live, I'll do some behind the scenes stuff. Before we went live, if you were paying attention, you probably noticed that we got to about 30 seconds, then all of a sudden the timer jumped up to 2 minutes. It's like the opposite of what the Windows countdown timers do, right? So they get to 99% and then they just stay there. We actually bump it up and down. So what happened was we had there was new MacBook problems. We had to ask Apple for permission to do screen sharing, and we had to ask it really, really nicely. And of course, you have to restart the application. So we said, oh, okay, cool. Let's just add 2 minutes to the countdown timer. Boop, boop, on the Stream Deck from Luke. And here we are. We're able to just shift the time around, and it doesn't cause any downstream impacts. So, already we weren't even started yet, and you're already seeing cool on-time features. So I'm psyched about that. But I guess, Luke, you and Carlos, you two have been working together quite a bit lately on working on some videos. Can you tell us a little bit more about what have you been seeing and what kind of cool stuff do you guys want to talk about? Like, let's go. Let's talk on time.
Want me to start? I'll start.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Carlos and I have been working behind the scenes. I've been a bit of a long time user of OnTime, so he and I have been talking, and I've been getting beta versions and doing some testing. And I said, hey, since I'm fairly confident with the software, why don't we record some videos, primarily tutorial videos? So we've been working on that. We spent a chunk of yesterday recording and editing those, and working at little features. We spent a lot of time sort of behind the scenes discussing features, how we at Tractus use it as well. So, getting features added, slimming stuff down, and just making a really great workflow for event producers.
So let's use that to springboard into the history of OnTime, because I want to know, Carlos, from you, like, why did you make it in the first place? Like, there's rundown software, there's timer software out there. Like, what made you go, I gotta write this?
Yeah, absolutely. So OnTime has been started a long, long time ago. So we're talking about probably around 2014. I used to be a venue manager. I was receiving many guests, doing conferences, concerts in our venue. We were also producing our own venue. And we saw that we keep hitting the same problems. And these problems were usually issues of communication, right? And these were the issues that we wanted to solve. We also had specifically for the conference people, we had these anecdotes of people trying their different solutions for stage timers. And I have to tell you, like, one very interesting solution that I remember at the time was a very large company here in Norway that was often coming to our venue. They actually had a PowerPoint slide where the slides were automated to roll every second. And they had one slide per second. So if they wanted a 20-minute timer, they will just roll back. They will find the 20-minute slide, and then they will press play and go from there. And that was their solution. This was a very large company.
They did it in PowerPoint.
They did it in PowerPoint, exactly, absolutely. And I think that's ingenious, right? I think that's I really love the industry that we work with. I think we work with very talented, intelligent people. And I think this is a great mark of this is how we work, right? We needed to have a solution. It was pragmatic. It worked. it didn't matter if it was the most ideal. We were busy. We have stuff to do. At that time, we started working in a prototype, or I made a prototype. Let's make this better, right? We can find a better way to do this. The biggest downside for me at least is that we needed screens around the whole venue. We used fiber distribution. It was really expensive to set up a timer on stage. At the same time, we had all these timers running. There was a show producer or a showrunner backstage. They were doing all the times. But no one else knew what was going on, right? I was getting on the comms. Oh, what's going on? When is the next speaker? How long until we finish? There was no way for us to keep track of this, and there has to be a better solution. Of course, we were all busy. No one ever did anything about it, and the idea kind of stopped with a prototype. We rolled back to Corona, and all of a sudden, everyone had a lot of time in their hands, and we decided to finish the prototype. And that's when Ontime was born. So as a warning, I made Ontime for myself and how I thought that show production could be improved. So I felt that the existing solutions at the time were working at the wrong level of abstraction in a way. So there was very simple solutions like timer solutions, which just cared about showing a timer in some hardware or in some screen. There was full-blown solutions which want to do everything for you. They want to do your planning. They want to keep hold of your media. They want to keep hold of your logistics. I felt like the existing solutions at the time were working at the wrong layer of abstraction, and I wanted to fix that with Ontime.
Interesting. So what you found when you were working on it was either you had the super simple, like go to Google, here's a simple timer, right? Or it was this is your entire show management software, right? Is that
Absolutely.
kind of the situation?
Absolutely. I found that there was no what I wanted was something that fit the team and my workflow. So one thing that myself and Luke talk about is about how the software that we use in production very often resembles the structure of the organization of the production. So we will have software that resembles these layers of production. And in my case, and in the industry that I work with, the software was not matching the abstraction that I needed it to work at. So one very important for me is that one very important thing for me, and this might be industry specific, right? But here in Norway and in the industries that I work in, video engineers work on, they do concerts and they will do theater and then they will do conferences. They work across many fields, and it was important to have a tool which was not attached or tied to a specifically workflow working. So a freelancer tool, and that's what we wanted to do with Ontime.
That's what strikes me about using Ontime versus other timekeeping software or timers that are part of other software is it is clear that you have focused on making basically the best timekeeping software out there for a live production. It does one thing and it does one thing really well.
Thank you. That's very nice to hear. Yeah,
that's what I found with my experience, and like just for a little bit of behind the scenes as well. As we're streaming this out, we've got a background feed, we've got a return feed that we're looking at for ourselves. We're actually powering the countdown timer that we've got on our side using Ontime. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I think we are on Ontime 4 now, correct?
Yep, that's right.
We're on Ontime 4. Now, this has been kind of a stealth launch, hasn't it?
Yes. So I guess we can say this is the launching party of Ontime 4. So congratulations.
There's a launch
everyone.
party. Dude, I didn't get confetti. Where's my confetti?
Yes. Yeah. So typically the way that we work in Ontime, and Alex it's here, so it's a witness. We don't have really a way to create slow rollouts. So the way that we do our slow rollouts is to quiet rollout on time, wait for some people to give us feedback, and then once we feel that we gathered enough feedback and make some tweaks, then we go full on with releases and announcements. I have to admit that Ontime it's quite a successful tool, I believe. But it's successful despite of my efforts to do advertisement, because I am not the type of person. I do not have social media. The entire advertisement for Ontime consists of one post on Reddit when I first open sourced Ontime.
That's a good place to get started, though. I did that early on with a bunch of my NDI tools. I've just posted them to Reddit and different places, and like that helped get a bunch of traction. That's a legit way to get attention. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now
Yeah.
so Ontime 4, that's out now. So you can now let's back up and talk about how you can actually run Ontime and how you would use it. So today you have two options, correct? You can either download it and run it essentially as a program on your computer, or you've got the cloud hosted software as a service. I give you a credit card, you give me a login link. Is
Absolutely.
that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. So OnTime has a different trajectory from typical software in the same area. So OnTime was first made as a offline, as a local software. So the most important thing was to get technicians on site, a tool that they can use. That was the focus of OnTime, and it still is. So you can download OnTime, you run it on your machine. OnTime will start. It's basically a server application. We'll start a server in your local machine, and every device in your local network will be able to access OnTime to get data, to get views, to achieve stuff. You can also use OnTime locally to do automations, right? So you could automate your sound playback, video playback, whatever. In and out of OnTime, you were able to do automations locally.
Oh, really? You can do automations from OnTime. Like, is that like HTTP GET requests, or like what does that look like?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, maybe
And
this is a good question for Alex.
yeah, exactly. Sorry to jump in to
Yeah, dude,
my
jump
favorite
in.
part.
Let's go. Let's nerd out.
Because just the story of the automations is in the other like the timekeeping software we used, we found that suddenly we had duplicated the queue lists of all departments in the run of show, and we had a show caller clicking all the buttons on all the right times, but having to speak out on the comms when things should happen. So I just went looking for something that why don't it just happen when we press the button in the show caller software. So and yeah, OnTime has HTTP GET and POST and OSC triggers.
OSC triggers as well.
Yep.
Oh wow.
The
Okay.
power of being
I didn't
local.
realize that.
You can do UDP.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so you can do all that stuff locally. So the idea with the automations is like, say we get to a segment in the rundown, when that segment goes active, that's when you can trigger your HTTP requests, like requests to other applications.
Yes, so we
Absolutely.
have a concept called like life cycles. So a lot of things happen when you start an event. There's a load, there's a play, then we have these two warning times, danger times, the hitting the planned end of an event, and then when you click off the end, if you stop it or go to the next one. So you can attach triggers to all those points of a running event.
Oh wow. So you're not just limited to when the event gets activated, it's also when you're okay, that's very cool. I didn't realize that. I'm gonna have to sit down and play with this now.
Yeah.
Luke and Carlos have been having all the fun. I've been here in NDI Packet World. I gotta start playing with OnTime again. Actually, speaking of, would this be a good time to actually take a look at the OnTime interface and just get an idea of what things look like these days? Because I think either Carlos or Luke or both of you guys have demos prepared. This is like show and tell day.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way we should do this. So I will be able to generally go to the interface and just look at this is the philosophy behind OnTime. But I think Luke has a use case to talk about, which could be quite interesting. Should I go first, Luke?
Okay. Yeah, go first.
All right, so we have here this interface of OnTime. I just downloaded it right before our chat. This is the latest version of OnTime running on my Mac. It's running locally. We are greeted into this editor interface. The editor interface contains our rundown and contains playback controls. Again, this is something that it felt important at the creation of OnTime, that I wanted something that was both for planning and for showtime. So it felt to me at the time that a lot of the tools will excel in one of the areas, right? So typically showrunner tools will be really good at creating plans, creating rundowns, but really at showtime, they were lacking integration. They were lacking, there was things missing. And it felt very important from the get-go that OnTime had to be this showtime, and planning had to come from the same tool. I don't want to do the same thing twice.
Right.
So here we have, this is what a typical rundown looks like. Yeah, everything that you expect from a tool like Showflow or a tool that creates rundowns, you will find something like this in Ontime, but different. I have never used Showflow, so I will have to say, I will have to admit that the decisions that we have were influenced by the way that I feel that the shows should run and my experience with shows, with running shows. So I run. I'm not sure. I've been working on this for like several years and run a few, probably thousand of shows. And this is on time encodes how I think that things should run. So I'm
Oh,
just going to
wow.
clear the rundown, and I will maybe talk a little bit about how things are going. So the very first thing, one very important thing that we wanted on time to achieve is to grow with users. So we wanted a user to come in. I just need a stage timer. I have there's something happening today. I need a quick stage timer. We wanted those users to be able to use on time. But as the shows become more complex and there's more planning and there's more people involved, we wanted on time to be able to grow with these people. So the very first thing is that people just want some timers here, right? So I could create exactly that, right? So we have, I will just create a bunch of timers. So I will have a moderator. Moderator has an introduction and it's set for 10 minutes. I'll create a speaker one. So the first speaker talks and he has 30 minutes. I will create, the moderator comes and introduces speaker two with another 10 minute set. And we will add one more. Speaker two now has, speaker two has moderator speaker two. I will give you another 30 minutes for this section, right? So these will be quite familiar to someone who's running stage timer applications. You could start any of these timers and you will get a corresponding timer or a countdown to it. But why do we stop here, right? Like you gave us a schedule. We are able to infer times from it. We're also able to share this with our whole team. Let's add more stuff to it. So we will want to add here that we want stage cleaning, and that's going to be at 7 in the morning. And it's going to last 1 hour. And I want to add that we will have setup, and that will be from 8 to 9. So 1 hour timer. So one thing that I've been brushing over, which is quite important, and already quite different from the remaining application or for other alternatives, is that Ontime has this concept of like significant times. So right here, I have an event that starts at 7 in the morning, and I say that the most important thing for me is that this event lasts for 1 hour. The next event, it's locked to start whenever that finishes, and it's very important for me that this start also lasts 1 hour. For when I created a moderator, I created them at midnight or at 0 time, right? So this doesn't have to mean that much. So one time is telling me, well, this is probably, there's a gap of 15 hours here. So we're probably talking about next day, but that's not what I mean. So what I'm going to do is to go ahead and lock this time. So now my rundown is entirely sequential. What that means for runtime is that I could come into setup and change that to 30 minutes and my whole rundown is updating. This is still very normal. Most rundown tools will create something like that. One difference that we have is that I could communicate one time that what is very important for me right here is that not that it lasts half an hour, but it needs to finish at 9 o'clock. So this whole segment of my rundown or my event needs to be finished by half an hour. Needs to be finished by 9 o'clock. So any changes on the rundown previous to this lock will be propagated, but to protect my 9 o'clock finished.
Okay.
Yeah, we can continue. And so I will just get something running here. So we have our stage running and we can go have a quick look around. Maybe the first thing that I will do is to show off some of the new on-time features, which are organization and what we call metadata features. So features that allow you to detail the rundown. I will just select all these events and I'll create a group of them. I'll call this my morning session. So we see here that my morning session inherited the schedule from all its contents. And I will
wow. So
create it.
hang on a second. How did you create that group again?
Yes, so I just shift selected all the elements, and I will shift selected the elements, and then with the right click menu or context menu, you can group the selected elements.
Okay, cool.
And this, it's an organization tool, right? It has some features attached to these groups. So groups, for example, can have target durations. I can say that I want to plan 1 hour, 30 minutes of content, and Ontime tries to help me. You're running light here, you're missing 10 minutes of content. But it has some, I think, more cool features, which I would like to show you. And more cool is probably not the right expression, but let's go with it. So Ontime has a lot of focus on timers. So this is what we want to do really well. We want to allow users to manage time really efficiently. So the very first thing that we can see here, now that we have a group, we have our countdown as before, right? But here on the right side, Ontime is telling me that I'm running the group setup. So that's this group here. And Ontime tells me that it's 1 hour and 58 minutes until we finished, right? So Ontime looks forwards in my content, and he's telling me that this is when we think you're able to finish, but you should have finished already. So it's due. So, right, it's saying that it should have finished at 9 o'clock. So maybe if I change my schedule to be a little bit more reasonable, so to 17:20, and I'll get running again. So now these numbers maybe make more sense. Ontime is telling me that I'm 6 minutes behind. The schedule, according to the plan, we'll need to finish at 5:33. But we think you're going to finish at this time.
Right. Okay. So
And
this
the
really
timer
gives us an
is,
ability to say this gives
Sorry.
us the ability to say how much we're going to cut into lunch break by.
Absolutely. So by grouping elements, you no longer organize a rundown, but you also allow Ontime to give you more metadata around your shows, right? So you Ontime can look down on your rundown and tell you how long or when will you be able to finish this segment. We can also see here. We can also see here in the rundown that on the right corner of all the time elements, so all the events, we have this expected time until start. So you will tell me for any element what's the expected time according to the current offset when we're able to start. So that is a question that as a showrunner you get all the time, right? How long until we start speaker 2? So in Ontime, I will open define menu. I'll look for speaker 2. And of course, this is a demo curse. I will look for speaker 2. Ontime will put me on speaker 2, and I will see that he's able to start in 16 hours and 28 minutes.
Okay, nice.
This is set for
That's really
after,
cool.
of course.
Yeah, you can notice that because we locked the end time of our setup to 9 o'clock, now that we moved the stage cleaning to 5, 9 o'clock ending would then be the day after, right? So we got a small exclamation point on the setup event, just telling us that this event is going to cross midnight. So you might be a bit confused about what's happening here.
Oh, that's okay. That's cool. That's handy. So
Exactly.
you're actually giving feedback to help guide and say, hey, this time your schedule, there's something wrong with your schedule here. You should probably take another look at it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the same when if you accidentally start planning in gaps or overlaps, we will also let you know, not in a too obtrusive way, but just to, it's probably not intended, but there's 20 minutes of unaccounted for time here between these two events, and you can run like that, but yeah, we can't help you in that case.
Right. You've got some fans. We've got some fans of Ontime in the chat on LinkedIn, by the way. James Rivers says, love Ontime. Alexander says, Ontime is excellent. I agree with you, gentlemen, both. Thank you so much for joining in. By the way, anybody who's watching live on either LinkedIn or YouTube, if you got questions for Carlos and Alex, feel free to jump in. If we got time, we'll take questions and send them onward. This is awesome. So we've got grouping here. We've got a little bit more visual detail about if we've got something about your schedule that is maybe a red flag. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in older versions of Ontime, if you were using the companion module, you could get some of these predicted end times, start times and whatnot, all of those were exposed as variables on Bitfocus Companion. So you could program your Stream Deck, right? And you could actually see those times. Is that correct?
That's a question for Alex, I feel.
Yes, that's great. Perhaps, I don't know, Luke, do you have it set up in your use case right now in the studio?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Do you want?
So
I can. Do you want to continue with your side of the demo,
yeah,
Carlos?
we can move on to companion and come back here. It's fine. I just wanted to say something that is maybe unnecessarily complicated, but very cool. Ontime, it's a server application, and we have created a bunch of UIs for that, but they are completely detached. So it's not a typical full stack application where we have a database and we have a UI that works out the database in a certain way. They're completely detached. That means that users should and are able to create their own interfaces for managing Ontime. That also means that all the information that we show in our interface is available through integration. So it's available through WebSockets or available through some API that users can consume. Meaning that in the case of Companion can everything that we can see in my interface right here is possible to show in Companion.
Okay, so the way that Ontime's written is it sounds like it's API first, and then you've got your user interfaces that wrap up your APIs and make calls to them. Is that right?
Absolutely. So yeah, focus on integrations from the very beginning. We want something that both in terms of team workflow and software integration, we wanted something that was API first, integration first. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's amazing. There's so many softwares out there that are definitely not API first, and it becomes really clunky to get those into cloud scenarios too. So that is awesome. That is awesome.
A quick showing of that API part. If Carlos can just mouse over the event editor down in the bottom, we actually just give you just to show this these two commands would be a way to hit this event with the OSC trigger. So
cool. So that
a quick copy.
Would that you can copy that and actually make an HTTP request. That's your HTTP request that you would make.
Yeah, I think actually we use this as a OSC formatting, but the HTTP would be almost the same. Yes.
Absolutely.
If only I had more time available this afternoon. Luke's like, you've got too much going on. Don't you dare.
Oh, there's so much more we can get into with Ontime too.
Dude, yep. Luke, do you want Carlos? Before I start taking the conversation all sorts of different places, are there more new features that you want to show off in the UI here? I think something else that might be worth showing off too is that we've been looking at the editor, but there's a bunch of other views that you get with the Ontime when you download and run the Ontime application, right? Like there's the there's the actual countdown timer view, and there's like, do you want to show those off too?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ontime has been running. We've been making it for around 5 years, I think, 5-6 years. So Ontime has reached a maturity level of maturity where features now are incremental. So there are features around detailing and integration. So we don't expect at this time like any major fantastic features. These should look very familiar for someone who uses V3. But under the hood, we actually merged something like 38,000 lines of code in V4. So yeah, let's have a look at the other views. So we are in the editor. So this is the first view that you will see when you start Ontime. I will come into the navigation menu and I will just open the next view along, which is the queue sheet. You will see the first thing here is that we are separated the views. So these are what we call production views. Those are interactive views where your team can come and collaborate with Ontime data. And then we have these views, which we just call them signage views. So they're non-interactive views, which simply display the data. The next view along is the queue sheet, and it's open here on another browser. So I will just push it over. Here it is. Queue sheet is your typical spreadsheet-like rundown. This is very familiar for people who like running rundowns. This a showrunner, right? I already created all my events. I have detailed how the runner show is going to be. Why don't we make this useful for everyone, right? So I'm running right here the template that Luke created for Ontime. And you can see here that we have these 4 columns: video notes, audio notes, PowerPoint name, and PowerPoint slide. These are actually not on-time columns. These are custom columns. So that means that you can come into Ontime. You can create custom fields, is what we call it, custom columns to add data to any event. So everyone in your team can come and add the data that they need. Let me actually.
Oh, really?
I will go into the editor and I will look. I will I will load the Luke's demo. So manage projects, demo for demo is what we're running. So let's go here. We're back into Luke's project and let's look at the Q sheet. So here we are, just so we have some more data to look at. I'll start running this. So right now we have some of on-time fields and we have the custom fields, so fields that you added to the rundown. Let's say that I'm a video operator, right? I can come here to the settings and I say that really the only thing that I care about is when are things starting and what are the nodes that I need to worry about. Everything else is not important to me. And so I can create a view that is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I can create a view that shows me exactly what I need and only what I need. With Ontime Cloud, so everyone in your network will be able to see this. So we see here that right now it's connected to my IP address in the local network. But if you were in a production network, so everyone in your production network will be able to see this view, and all the changes propagate in real time. So this was very important, that you don't have to download anything, you don't have to log in, you don't have to refresh the page. All the changes happen in real time in all the views connected to Ontime. So actually, we worked with some users who were using Ontime for the Tokyo World Athletics, and I cannot remember the numbers, but we were talking about like hundreds of people following Ontime from different views and reading different types of data across the world, right?
And then, so for that project, were you using Ontime on-prem or were you using Ontime Cloud?
They were using Ontime Cloud. So
nice.
The premise of Ontime Cloud, you can manage your own network. And for most scenarios, if you work in a venue, you will be able to set up your network. Probably the venue already has a production network. So Ontime can help you. Here in the navigation menu is telling me, okay, right now you're in localhost, but this view is also accessible in this IP address. This will be my home IP address. If I had more here in the editor, if I come into network, well, I don't have any more networks, but I will see a list of all the networks that are available for my machine. But there will be a point where it's just not viable to create your network, right? You're in a festival, there's no time to set up a network. Or in the case of the Tokyo Olympics, you have people distributed all over the world. You know, the VPN setup to do all of this will be huge and potentially impossible to coordinate so many people. So On-Time Cloud it's exactly the solution for that. That's network we all share, right? It's the internet.
Right. And then just to go back to this rundown here. So this rundown too, to build out this rundown, especially with custom columns, like is this also accessible to the API?
Yes. So the UI communicates through Ontime to the Ontime server through the API. So everything that Ontime can do, the API can do. Yes.
Wow. Ooh, I have some ideas for this. This is real, and those images. So you can define a column that has text, or you can define a column that has images. Is that right?
Absolutely. So the solution that we found, which is I believe is on the pragmatism side, is that we don't upload images into Ontime. So to make the infrastructure simpler for you or for whoever is hosting Ontime, what we actually have here is a link to an image. So I hosted these images in my website just for the demo. And what you can paste here is URLs to images, and Ontime will display those for you.
Ooh, that's nice. That's very cool. I could see that I could see being incredibly useful for sharing with clients too. Show them, oh man.
Absolutely.
Luke, We can't talk about that specific scenario because it would identify a client, but I think you and I we're going to talk about this. I think
Yeah.
there's a client of ours that's going to love this.
Yeah, and that's
So
where the beauty of the on-time cloud comes in, because then it's a simple share with them.
Yeah,
And
we just
as we
we
know, our
just share a
clients don't
cloud link.
want to download new software, learn new things. So the fact that it's just a simple URL, they go to it, it's in their browser, they can access it anytime, makes it a lot
Well,
easier, less
dude,
friction.
how often do we go into corporate networks? They can't install anything even if they wanted to.
Oh, exactly.
Right? They're locking
yeah,
those laptops down like nobody's business. They can't install anything. They're lucky if they can hit half the web pages on the internet. Maybe lucky is not the right word.
And
But
just
yeah, no, this
a
is
note
awesome.
for when using or working with the clients, you might not want monkeying about in your stuff, because from the QShed you can also edit the rundown. It's maybe a bit more of a normal view for some show of colors. You can, under the share page, you can set up permissions for when you generate the links for people to work from.
Oh wow! So you could say I want a read-only view for, say, the client. I don't want them messing up any of the data. I just need them to see the Q sheet.
Hmm.
absolutely. So let's try that. So I just reset the view to the default, and I have all the fields from Ontime here in my rundown. But I will want to create a view to share with the client, right? So I will come
Right.
into the share menu here. I will need to find a network where I think that it will be available. So not in my local host, but it will be available potentially in my production network. In the case of a client, it will probably be online. So this is a good place for Ontime Cloud, right? So the network will be the internet. Or if you're hosting Ontime in a VPS or Amazon, like you will have to have that network address. And then what I will say here is that by default, all links have full access mode, but I want to say that I want to have custom read and custom write modes. And I don't want the user to see flags, queues, and I don't want them to see any of these. So I only want to see title, time start, time end, durations, and they should only be able to write to titles. That's how I feel like, yeah, that's these A lists that I want to create. I will create the share link. And of course, yeah, sorry. And then I have created already. So let's try again. Okay, so this is a curse, demo curse, I believe. So I guess you will just have to believe me that we will create a share which only has access to title and write access to title, but he has read access to all these other columns.
Right. Okay, that's very neat. And yeah, with the QR code. Oh, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be using this more. I love this.
Yeah, we actually wrote.
I want to play with the API.
Yeah, we made a video about this yesterday, so I'm interesting. It's interesting that now I'm finding some mistake, but we'll find out. Yeah.
Dude, I run into that all the time when we're running beta stuff on a live stream, and it's just like, oh hey, let's test this out in a weird combination that I totally forgot to turn off 5 minutes before we went live.
Yes, absolutely.
So it happens. It's genuine stuff. I want to just switch gears just for a sec though, just being mindful of time. No pun intended. So Ontime's also unique in that it is open source software, right? Like you can go on GitHub, fork the repository, and make whatever changes to it that you want. And you've also got the Ontime cloud. Like why did you decide to go open source?
Absolutely. In philosophy, felt important to have Ontime being open source software. Ontime is a small project, but it was in a way inspired. You have projects like Bitfocus, Companion. I mean, there are so many projects that are being created in the last couple of years, which have been changing the event production industry, and these projects have typically taken the open source open source route. And I wanted to be part of that, right? I also wanted to contribute to the open source community with my own project. The philosophy will be that in the long term, this will pay off, right? In the long term, there could be users who could come and collaborate and will help us make better. And Ontime could be better than what I could possibly do it, right? So like the sum is more than the individual parts, and that's true, right? We have Alex right here. He's been working with us for a few years, and it's proof that it works.
That's awesome. And so, is there? I guess how for folks that want to support Ontime, aside from just spreading the word, is there a way that they can support the project, spread the word? Do you have a Patreon or a Coffee or anything like that for support, or would you just say to people, "Hey, get a license for Ontime Cloud to support this"? Like, how can people support this because this is a really important tool?
Yeah, I think the most meaningful support is for people to actually use Ontime and to help us make it better. So we collaborate with users often to polish new features, to review designs, to talk about things that I never worked about, right? Tokyo Olympics, I have no idea how rundowns for athletics works, and I've been working on these lately. That is the most meaningful level of collaboration that we will expect. We also have GitHub sponsors and Buy Me a Coffee, so people can make monetary donations to Ontime.
Awesome. So there are multiple ways to support. And where can folks actually go and find Ontime? Like they want to go and download it or get started with Ontime Cloud. Where do they need to go?
Yes, so we have a website, getontime.no. In the website, there will be links for downloading. There will be links for subscribing to Ontime Cloud. The specific donation and sponsorship links are associated with GitHub. So for people who consume our open source project as code, they will have links in GitHub to sponsor the project.
Nice. That's awesome. Luke, as far as if I understand right, you've also got a little demo that you wanted to that you prepared that you'd like to show. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Is it show and tell time?
I think so. Let's do it.
Oh man.
Share the right screen here.
We'll do some.
Just give me a moment while I'm the
sure,
producer.
I'll give you a moment to set. I'll give. Yeah, Luke's not busy at all this morning. He's punching the show. He's trying to set up for his own demos, trying to make sure that everything's going right. Oh man, look at that. Dude is a champion.
All right, so this is our Tractus companion file. So as a producer, like I am today, wearing many hats during a show, so the Ontime user interface is great. It's easy to navigate, but I don't want to be mousing around during a show while I'm producing. So for me, using Bitfocus Companion with Ontime is an absolute game changer. I know that Alex has, so Alex works on the companion module. Alex has a lot of great presets set up here. And, we can just go in and drag and drop these into our file. But for me personally, so we have, this is our sort of main couple decks where we're punching our vMix show. But there's a lot going on. And like we have 4 Stream Deck XLs, but still real estate is quite limited. So in our file, everything in green here, these are Ontime. So great, great actions that we can access here. So simply starting and pausing our timer here. We can go to our next timer, previous timer, and you'll see here we have our notes, our title, our notes. And this is great. So our offset, if I start adding time to a timer like we did at the top of the show this morning, it's going to add an offset. So I don't have to memorize, okay, we needed to add 2 minutes to the timer. It keeps track of that for me. So while the
And
timer's
so
running, go ahead.
And so, just to give a little bit of context of what we're looking at here, Luke is, if you're not familiar with Companion, this is another way to drive your Stream Decks or kind of similar uh, multi-button device, right? Like we use these for punching and producing our shows. And the way that the philosophy that we've adopted, mostly thanks to Luke and Mike, has been do our thinking ahead of time. So we're programming our shows well ahead of time. We have a master template that we use, but then we'll fork that depending on the shows that we're doing. And so Luke, before a show, he'll set up all of our different presets like A1, A2, A3, and those are going to sometimes be tied to specific functions that we want
Like
to
this.
execute in on time, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like this.
Yeah.
And so we might punch like the A1 pre-show reset, right? And that's going to reset our on time to the beginning of the rundown and start the timer, and do a bunch of other actions. So
Yeah.
it's actually not that common, Luke, I believe, that for us to actually go into the on time UI to actually make changes to the rundown once that rundown has been created. We're really interacting with on time the majority of the time through Companion and basing our actions based on what we see on the Stream Decks and less so what we see in the UI, right?
Exactly. So yeah, like we really rely on these macros, and this is essentially the red buttons here are macros that are pressing either a multitude of buttons or they're taking different actions. Like we're making sure that all of our audio gets turned on at the top of the show or turned off when we're resetting. So timer is always included. I like the start an event from list. Gives you a nice list. On this one, this is just separate from what we're actually using in our production right now. This gives us a nice list. And we can do, like, even if we're doing an hour-long webinar and we have several segments, we've got a welcome, panel discussion, Q&A, and a wrap-up. We can break down several timers, and each one of these macros, which is going to launch what you see on screen. It's going to turn on microphones, turn off other microphones, but it's also going to launch our timer. So again, like when you're doing a whole bunch of stuff at once, you don't want to think, I need to go to the scene. I need to put these people on screen. I need to make sure the other people are muted, make sure these mics are unmuted. And also I need to start the timer because, a lot of presenters are really relying on timers starting when that segment goes. So that's
Oh,
the
dude,
philosophy of that. And like trying to remember to do all that kind of stuff all at the same time is impossible.
with the client giving you the last minute request 12 seconds before the show starts, right?
Exactly.
Because that never happens.
Yeah. Or a
That never
presenter
ever happens.
dropping. But again, like, these sort of the main decks are XLs, but we also have a Stream Deck Plus. And this, I know you can't see the knob, but essentially either turning it left or turning it right, we're able to add or remove time to our timer. I have this one set to 1 minute. This one's set to 20 seconds. So again, I just need to reach over to my Stream Deck Plus, need to add a couple minutes, subtract a couple minutes. And again, it's keeping track of any time I offset. So if I test our action, which is here, you can see right here, our offset remembers it.
Oh,
And
okay,
it's
yes.
also telling us exactly what time we're expected to finish. So
Right.
as we add more, it calculates it and adds that to it. So you can see on this button, and then again, because of real estate, I'm showing multiple things on the button. So I always have an eye on the clock. I always have an eye on the countdown. And that, yeah, even if I need to add or subtract, that all dynamically moves with it. So if a client is in a back channel saying, we've added a bunch of time, what's our new expected time? I don't have to sit there and think about doing math while I'm also punching the show. I just look over, yep, 12:24.
I love this because this really shows off all the different ways that you can work with Ontime. Like we got the nice client facing rundown views. We've got the on stage timer views that just has the timer. We can flash message. We haven't even talked about flashing messages up to the presenters saying wrap up,
Yeah,
we're out of time, right? Which you can customize too, right?
absolutely.
So you can throw up custom messages like you've got something on your shirt. So that's, but as operators, we can live in our world and punch all of our Stream Deck buttons and see on there where we are in the show and how it relates to our workflow. But then everybody else in the chain, they can have their own views, whether they're working on Ontime in the Ontime interface directly, or you've got some sort of a custom wrapper around it, or in the case of what we're doing here online. So in the background online, what we're doing is in our return feed that we're sent. So we're bringing everybody in via Zoom, and into the Zoom call, Luke is feeding a return feed. That return feed has got what's going out to program right now, what everybody's seeing online. We also see a preview of the screen share, and we are also seeing the on-time timer. So if Luke needs to flash a question or needs to flash a notification to us, he can. Or yeah, exactly, like last question. This one is super invaluable for if you're producing like a multi-day conference, for example. Your sessions have to run to an hour. It's like, okay, cool. Last question. Let's wrap up. Let's go. We gotta move on this stuff. Joel says, fantastic project to contribute to. Thanks, Carlos. That comes from LinkedIn. We got lots of fans of Ontime.
Right.
Like this is one of the, oh, I got to slow down. No, never. Never,
It's okay. We
never,
don't
never.
have simultaneous interpretation today, so.
Oh, that's right. So that's actually a use case for that one is sometimes because we're based in Canada, a lot of our clients, they're mandated to provide and should provide their streams in English and French. And so very often we'll have an interpretation team in the background. And sometimes we have to signal to the presenters, we need you to slow down a little bit because the interpreters are struggling to keep up.
Yeah.
So that's, again, this is the flexibility of Ontime means you can, this is where I think a lot of tools fall down. This is where I think Ontime is brilliant. A lot of tools force you to produce your event the way that they feel it should be produced. And they present the data and present all the information in the way that they feel is best for it to be presented. Whereas with Ontime, the interface that you've got right now is fantastic, right? Like you can download it, use it today. It's amazing. But if you need to make it integrate into your workflow and make it work for you, it's open and flexible enough that it can do that without simultaneously being too open, where it's so customizable that it's just way too hard to use. So it's a rare tool that I feel covers the whole spectrum. You've got the introductory users that can use it no problem, and then you've got the power users that can really integrate it into their stuff. So it's like, it's amazing. Luke introduced me to it. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of Ontime until Luke introduced me to it about 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
Something like that. And we've been using it ever since, and it's been freaking amazing. And if you're out there, you've not yet used Ontime, go give it a download today. Go try Ontime 4. It's out.
Try it. It's fun. It's very easy to pick it up too.
Try it with Companion too. It's really fun.
Yep.
So we're getting close to the top of the hour here, guys. Any parting thoughts? Any cool stuff? Anything else that we want to show off? I mean, we don't have a hard cap here. It's whenever we run out of time. I know you guys are over in Europe, so it's later at night, and I don't want to be the one that stands between you and the rest of your Friday.
I understand. We didn't even scratch the surface. There's so much to Ontime. There's interfaces for all sorts of use cases, and there's a lot of management tools that we didn't go into. There's automation. We can remote control all the clients from Ontime's editors. But yeah, that will have to be for one of Luke's videos, I believe. For now,
I haven't even seen the videos yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing those.
Yeah. For now, I guess if someone is out there and someone wants to try it out, and if someone wants to help, if you have a use case, if you want to help us improve on time, reach out. That's what we're trying to do. We want some
Awesome.
feedback.
Awesome. Alex, final thoughts from you, sir.
Maybe for the API hungry people, Luke could bring out the browser again and go to his localhost/external/demo. Asking a lot
We've
of the
got a
producer.
last-minute demo. I can't wait to see this.
What's that again?
Yeah,
External/demo. It's dangerous to on the last minutes.
No, this is where we earn our pay. All right, let's go. Demo time. What do we got? What are we looking at here?
It's just to
this looks
show
like an API browser.
this is just us trying to throw all the data at you in a page that is static inside a folder in your you get when you install Ontime, and whatever HTML like stuff you throw into this folder, we will serve for you under the external path, so you can make your custom views, throw them in here, and get access, because we spin up a server anyway, so we can host stuff for you.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Dude, this is awesome. I love it. There's so many dude, there's so many features we could go into, and there's just not enough time. We will have to watch for Luke, where are the demo videos going to be? Where will people be able to find the demo videos? Luke, Carlos.
Yeah, they're going to be on the Ontime YouTube channel.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So, and you can find the Ontime YouTube channel from the Ontime webpage, I assume. So that's getontime.no.
That is correct. And we
Okay,
will
awesome.
we'll link the YouTube channels in all the mediums that we have. So we also have a Discord channel where people can come for help and to chat with us. We'll make sure that all the links are distributed.
Yes, join the Discord channel. Show them some love. Go check out Ontime. Go download it. Go give it a try. Try it Ontime 4. Go grab a license for Ontime Cloud. You're going to love it. Carlos, Alex, Luke, this has been a freaking blast. I love it. This is so cool. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We'll have to chat again about Ontime very soon. So with that, I think let's wrap up. We'll let these gentlemen get on with their evenings. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody that's on LinkedIn and YouTube, and we'll chat with you again very soon. And look for those tutorial and guide videos that are going to be coming out. Cannot wait to see them. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.